Hey, what's up, y'all? This is J Rhodes, award-winning music producer from Dallas, Texas. Let me ask y'all a question, though. What do you get when you get 10 of the dopest up-and-coming producers in one house? Put them through a myriad of crazy challenges, all for $1,000 in cash, a crazy prize package, and a chance to work with the legendary Talib Kweli. Some may call it a dream, but we label it the House of Beats. Come walk with us inside to see what's up.
What's up, y'all? This is your boy J Rhodes, and this is another exciting episode of House of Beats. Now, on last week's episode, we wanted to take y'all into the house and go behind the scenes and get to know the producers, because you know they're all dope and talented producers, but it's cool to kind of get to know the person, because when you get to know the person, then you have a great understanding of the music they make and why they do the things they do. So it was cool for you guys to take a deeper look into the contestants. But now we're back into the challenges. Little recap over the scores and what I think everybody's in the competition. It's some people that stood out just a tad bit more than others in some areas, but we got a lot more competitions, a few more challenges to go and everything. So everybody's in this race, and I'm liking the way that y'all just communicating with each other, vibing with each other. We all having fun, because that's what it's all about. We're a community, and I just love seeing the creative space that y'all all are in. You know, just vibing with each other, making beats, sharing techniques. So give yourself a hand clap for the camaraderie. All right, so for this next competition, we're gonna it's gonna be here, because with being the House of Beats, we have to do something in the house, right? Because a lot of times you're not always gonna be able to produce in a state-of-the-art studio like MediaTek. Most of us, even myself now, I produce out of my home setup 90% of the time, as maybe a lot of y'all too. So a lot of tests in this industry and stuff. You're not gonna always be in a state-of-the-art studio like MediaTek. So for this challenge, the folder that I gave you, and the reason I labeled it HPT, which is, like I say, an odd name for a challenge, kind of puts you in the mind. Well, anyway, but the reason I named it that is because it's actually called Headphone Test. And what it is, it's just something real quick. Also, to be a producer, people don't know this, or they should know this. The better mixer or engineer you are, the better producer you are. You know what I mean? Because, you know, just to hear sounds, whether it's in your headphones or in your speakers, if you can have a real tight beat, but if it's all over the place, you can't translate your idea. Yeah. So we're gonna give everybody 30 minutes to mix one of my beats. I have a reference in there of kind of how I mixed it. You don't have to go all the way with it. So I kind of screwed up a few things. It's not too bad. It's not super all over the place. So we just want you guys to get in your headphones, do some mixing on the beat, you know what I'm saying, export a file, and when we're gonna go to MediaTek, we're gonna listen to it and see how you were able to translate your mix from your headphones to the big speakers. And that's a skill as well, because like even when you have the sub packs on, or when you're in a studio environment, your music sounds different everywhere you are. Like you're in the car, you're like, oh man, and you know, you hear different things. But so it's a big thing in this day and age of portable music and everybody traveling, to be a beast in your headphones, like it really is. So we're gonna put that to the test, and it's also gonna test your mixing skills as a music producer. So everybody, you know, get to your computers. You got 30 minutes to kind of put your flavor in mixing on a beat. We're gonna go listen to it. We're gonna see how it sounds at MediaTek. Then after that, we're gonna get into the next challenge. So y'all ready for it?
Yeah.
Let's go.
We're about to go to MediaTek for the next day of the challenges. Excited.
We're about to hit the MediaTek. Take these challenges over there, man. See what's popping. Come on.
I think it's on.
So what?
I said, where we headed?
To the MediaTek.
Media up.
Look, I don't know. I keep listening.
Where we headed, man?
Hey, we headed to MediaTek to continue this challenge. You know, check these mixes.
Oh yeah, the mixes.
Yeah.
To the lab. What's the name of it?
MediaTek.
MediaTek. That's where we going.
We're going.
Headed to MediaTek.
The next challenge we gave to the contestants was the Headphone Test challenge. Now this challenge is important because oftentimes music producers, they don't have state-of-the-art studios these days. You know, a lot of times you're on the go, you don't always have the best speakers. Sometimes you may have to do something on a computer speaker. Sometimes it may be a headphone. You just have different situations where you have to listen to music and feel it. It's also very important for a producer to know how to mix. I'm not saying that you have to be Young Guru or Jason Joshua or something like that. The better your engineering skills is going to help you as a producer, and that's just the truth. So on this test, it was a headphone challenge test. Me and my homie Shroom, we collabed on this beat, and it went like this. So yeah, that was the beat. And so what I did with it is I really screwed it up and messed it up, and I didn't have it sounding like that. I had like the toms real low, the snare real high, just some crazy stuff. I just wanted to kind of really test their ear to see what they would do with a very messed up session. Because more times than you think, people will send you a session, maybe want you to mix something or put your taste on it, and it's all over the place. Very rarely do you get a perfect session sent to you. So I'm just trying to simulate a real life music producer environment. You gotta be ready for everything.
Igami could present me.
Oh,
Yeah. So they don't. Yeah, just say, look bad for me.
Can I wear the glasses?
No, you can't. They're not gonna recognize you. You still without the glasses. So you look more like me without the glasses. So we have 30 minutes to mix a beat, and that's a real challenge right there. Like, that's not one of my strongest points. I only use Maschine to make my beat, so I had to mix a beat in 30 minutes with Maschine, and that was tough. It's not an easy process. We have to get the sounds, the beat from J Rhodes and mix it. You know, it was tricky. It was tricky because I think what J Rhodes did during that whole process is like he made sure he messed with the each sounds. He made sure he messed with it. Some parts of each sound was loud and low, so you have to mix it so it sounds better. So honestly, I am not looking forward to listening to my portion of that mixed part, but you know, it is what it is. You know. Yeah.
Now, what you were faced with, like straight up, and this is a testament to the challenge as well. Like, you haven't been faced with a challenge like this yet, but as you grow as a producer, you may need to mix something. You may need to do some other stuff. And as dope as Maschine is for beat making, when somebody gives you some files and you have to mix it, and that's the only thing that you have, that may, you know what I'm saying, be a trouble for you. This really showed a weakness in Don P as far as it relates to mixing, because he doesn't use your standard DAW. He uses Maschine, and I think Maschine alone. I think it's good. It's good to master Maschine, but it's also good to use Maschine in tandem with something else. So just in the future, you know, we may, you know, start learning, even it doesn't have to be Pro Tools, maybe Logic, maybe something else just for those purposes. So that's just something, you know what I'm saying, that you can put on your radar. But with that being said, let's hear what you did.
Before I go, I want to say this is the most humbling thing that's ever happened to me, because for as long as I've been making beats, nobody's ever asked me to mix anything. So this is the first time ever my attempt to trying to mix anything. So
Understood.
You know, it's not an excuse, but I'm just saying.
No, but understood. It's facts. Right. Good. Throw the whole. Throw the whole mix away. Throw the whole producer away after this. Bro, what? Okay. Don P is like the J.R. Smith of producers, bro. He'll get you. One day he go get you 40. One day he'll hit the game winner. And the next day, he gonna get the board, and instead of putting the layup in, he gonna run back to half court. Like, he's the J.R. Smith of producers, bro. Why didn't you warn us that it did that? You didn't know that it did that?
Did what?
That. Like, did what? It's okay. It's okay. Woo! First of all, I'm humble, and it's dope that you came up here and, you know, presented that, because, you know, and it's humbling because, like I said, you won the It Factor challenge. That means this is a producer competition, so the It Factor was kind of like the biggest just straight producer challenge that we had thus far. Like, hey, play one of your best beats and we're gonna see what we feel. You won that, you know what I'm saying? You edged out, you know, all these dope producers here, but this is another aspect of producing is mixing. So I would say this is just a humbling experience to let you know that Maschine is great, but just learn a DAW. I mean, Maschine is a DAW, but until you can start really mixing and doing everything cleanly in the Maschine, I would say pick up a DAW, bro, so that, you know what I'm saying, so that this won't happen again. It's not just about having banging beats, but it's about being able to be efficient in different scenarios. You know, you may have to mix a record, and if, just say Jay-Z say, hey, Don P, mix that record, and then you try to put it, that was a horrible Jay-Z. So with that, I mean, it's very humbling. It's crazy because he's got the #1 in the competition, and he's also got the last in the competition. So like I say, he's the J.R. Smith of producers, man.
So this morning we had the headphone challenge, headphone test. And I'm telling you, it truly was a test because we only had 30 minutes to get it right. And some of the tracks, some of the volume was so off, and just, it was crazy to have to mix in 30 minutes, but it really helped you to step your game up. Yes, absolutely, he did. He said he just went in there and just started twisting stuff. I'm like, really?
So with all that being said, I'm just gonna let you play your beat. We're gonna break it down, and I'm gonna see what did you do to kind of restore this. I say I'll give it up for TFO on the mix. I really, it sounded pretty good. So can you tell me some of the tools that you kind of use?
Absolutely. Your drum roll, that was really low. That was one that I had to really tweak, and so, but I went in and I had to add volume to it. I cranked it up, and I actually had to add a stereo enhancer, and I turned that up too, to where it would have a presence, because it did not have presence at all in the track. 2 sample tracks that you had, I panned one to the left, panned one to the right. That way to still have presence, and I kept the main track as well. So just to give it that stereo sound, I did pan one and pan the other, and just kind of did it from there.
All in 30 minutes. That was pretty damn good. There we go. All in 30 minutes. All right.
Appreciate it.
The only thing, like I said, I think you still like up there almost pretty much perfect. But only thing I would say, and it's just to taste, that I would have had that snare like kind of cranking a little bit harder. That's it. But you did an exceptional job for, you know, crazy challenge of mixing something in 30 minutes, and it's gonna be tough press to, you know, make somebody else to make a beat sound that good. But good job for real.
Cool.
All right, who's next?
Thank you.
TFO's mix was very good. I think the one thing that took it from being one of the top mixes, because I think it was up there, all up into the snare. Now, when you mix, like I say, it's a matter of taste. So I think if she would have made her snare make a bigger statement, she could have scored a little higher. But everything else was exceptional, so she really did a great job. All right, let's see what you got, man.
Apparently, J Rhodes went in there and like turned the volume down on this and like changed it up, like messed stuff up on purpose. So it's like, I would have been comfortable. It was like an hour and 30 minutes or something, but yeah, that was just difficult. I barely got started on it, so I don't know how this is gonna work out.
Okay. Now you was cool. I heard that's pretty much everything. Like, explain to me kind of how you approach the 30-minute mix.
So my approach was, I was like, as meticulous as I am, I know I ain't gonna mix it in 30 minutes, so I decided to just enhance and have fun with some of the elements in the beat. And so one of the things I did was the drum fill, just added some crunch to it, just some distortion, and I added a transient enhancer, add more punch to the attack on the fill. The snare, I took out the reverb and tried to replace it with my own reverb, boosted the low mids and the meat of the snare, and I replaced the kick. Okay. Which now that I hear the original kick, I like that, and I wish I didn't replace it.
Say, don't you ever touch my kicks, bro.
Yeah, I know. Like when I heard it on here, I was like, man, I shouldn't have replaced it.
I know what I'm doing, bro. Like, I like that. I know you're a very talented engineer too, so I know you know what you were worked with. I mean, what you were faced with, and you never probably just try to mix a crazy joint in like, you know what I'm saying, 30 minutes or whatnot. But I think you did real good with it. I heard some of the stuff you did. I think it came out and it translated good. I think the sample was a little low, but we know why that was. But I think all in all, it was a pretty good job for, mixing in 30 minutes. I know what you're capable of when when somebody gives you a track out and they give you the right thing to do with it. So I know what you're capable of. But just working under crazy pressure like this, I think you did a pretty good job, man. So. Yeah, Jedediah, in this competition, if he's done nothing else, he's proved that he has a real great, keen ear. So I expect nothing less than what he did. As an engineer, you're kind of like a tastemaker. So you kind of make what you feel, and no two mixes are gonna be alike, but I think his was real similar. He heard things that I heard, and I really like his mix, especially his snare. I like the reverb he put on it, and for him to take those files almost like Humpty Dumpty and put them back together again and make them even doper, in my opinion, that's very commendable. So that was a real tight mix.
Well, it was 30 minutes to mix a song. It was different because like J Rhodes intentionally threw some curveballs and stuff like that in there. If you're not paying attention, you're gonna miss some stuff. We're gonna see how it come through in the studio. So hopefully we kept that same momentum.
Okay, I like the delay. I like the delay. Hold up. I still can hear it.
I gotta read.
It's all good. Nah. I felt it though. I heard. I'm good. Give it up for that one. It was good though. And it was a FaceTime. That wasn't just a call.
Oh, it was a FaceTime, bro.
Yeah, no. Oh yeah, I like this. I like that telephone you added in there. It really freaked
little touch.
Nah, but like I heard some of the stuff you did, but definitely kind of break down some of it, and I can speak on it.
Yeah, so basically we was pressed for time, so like in this situation, less would have been more. It would have allowed you to do more. So I just focus on balancing, the tracks, and we all producers, so we like slapping drums. So my main thing was trying to get them drums to really sit in the mix right. So I had parallel compressed them, just squash that send there, and I just brought up the low end just to kind of help it sound more full. And as you heard, the delay and stuff like that, just to give it some more space and fill up, because it's a lot of breaks in the record, so we don't have nobody singing over it yet. So it's like with the trumpets and stuff like that, I wanted it to sound like it was like in a room recording and stuff like that. But
that's cool.
For the most part, I just kept it simple, balanced, panning, and all of that stuff. So yeah.
Man, that was dope, man. So that was honestly, I would say that's probably and I'm really trying to keep in mind, because everybody's doing such a good job. I don't want the last mix I heard, that's my favorite, so I'm trying to remember what everybody did, so I'm keeping that in mind. But I think this one is my personal favorite. You made the beat a totally different feel, and that's cool about music, engineering, lyrics, and everything. Like there's more than one way to do it, and the way that you did it was real cool. And you did all that, and you didn't compromise the drums or the sample. And it's a super job considering, some people were talking noise about you. Said your headphones were so loud that your mix wasn't gonna be tight. So you kind of showed.
I think that was you though.
And with that, you showed you kind of showed up, showed out, man. So if you still got your hearing, you're gonna be a great engineer. For real, good stuff, man. Good stuff, dog. Good stuff.
Thank you.
But that was real dope. It was a real good mix. It had, different levels to it. And I think he was real strong in the mids. I think that's really where a lot of good songs are crafted. It's easy to have that low end hidden. It's easy to have your hi-hats up top. But in the mids, if you can make that stuff clear and really do cool things in that range, that's kind of what catches my ear as well, if you can balance all that out. So that was a real good job.
It was a tough task, having 30 minutes to mix a beat is obviously not a lot of time. Hopefully the beat doesn't sound too crappy, but I did my best, and don't judge me.
All right, let's see what you got, bro.
All right, let's get it.
Okay, give it up. What explain what you did, stuff you did. I'm my bad.
Okay, so what I mainly did was try to EQ a lot of the sounds, and I also kind of just turned everything down. So I did a lot of panning just to give it some range, and added some reverb a little bit to the snare as well. So
okay, cool. Thank you for breaking it down. And you did this in Logic, and you used mostly Logic tools, Wave tools, or what?
Normally I use Ableton, but for some reason everything was warping in Ableton, so I ran over to Logic. And I normally do all my mixing in Ableton, but today I ran into a problem because somehow the folder with the WAV files deleting off my computer, it wasn't in my trash, so I couldn't find it. But I do have other DAWs that I use, so I went ahead and exported it into Logic, because I also use Logic as well. So by the time I got into Logic, it was already 9 minutes to go. So
if a serious caller was calling you for something, you still have to make it happen. So what I do appreciate, and then I think what even made, breaking down that, what may even get you, a little extra points on this, was the fact that, even with Ableton messing up, and then I also think your computer crashed or something. What happened with it?
The files had deleted off my
the
computer
files
for some reason. So
I like the way you had the snare. I like the way you had a lot of the drums. Like you always had that punch, and I think that's what you go for. The only thing that got lost in that was the main sample, and I know it was all over the place and crazy. Everything else was kind of there. I think the main sample didn't have as much presence. I wouldn't have known all the crazy stuff that I threw at y'all, but with this one, everything was good. I could just tell that, the sample itself was giving you a little trouble, just a little lost, and and it was a challenge, so it was lost for a reason because I hit it,
Right.
But it still came out pretty good. What I really like is that you went with kind of like your core thing is with your drum smacking, so that didn't get lost. So that was a pretty good job, though. Good stuff. Appreciate it. Dirty Snares had a real good mix. It was cool. It was solid. It was dope. I really liked the low end that he had on it. For him to be able to mix that in 30 minutes, it was a real good job. So that's another dope, exciting episode of House of Beats. Now make sure you tune in next week because we got 5 more producers competing in the Headphone Test Challenge. And we want to see who get the mixes right. It's your boy J Rhodes from House of Beats, signing off. Peace.
Alright, yeah. I want your attention undivided. When it comes to this, see, I'm a tyrant. Meaning that I'm medieval with my shit. So in battle, I'm who you should side with. I'm on that get my respect to die shit. I default to anger in the crisis. My closest counterpart say I'm the nicest, but rub me the wrong way and I get violent. You flipping me the bird in your car, bro. Like access can't get granted to your car, though. Next thing you know, I'm sitting in your Volvo. Like, oh, you got a problem, rock your jaw, problem solved, ho. I'm a man of God, I'm about peace. But boy, if you keep talking shit about me, I'ma have your grill hanging out, B. Leaning to the side just like Steph Curry's mouthpiece. Ratchet Gandhi. Why they push my buttons is beyond me. Yeah. 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 They gonna unleash the ratchet gun.